Today on Locked On A's, I've got some more trade ideas. Why not? Because the A's have said that they want either an infielder or an outfielder via trade or free agency. They don't care. So I got a couple of trades that I'm going to piece together here for you guys. One infielder, one outfielder, and we're going to go with that. And then finally, we're going to wrap up today with some A's minor transactions. Some guys are either back with the team or still with the team. I'll get you guys all the way updated on all of that. So let's get into it. Happy holidays, A's fans, and how's it going as well? Welcome to the Locked On A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This is episode 510. That is so many episodes of this podcast. But if you've listened to any of them, you know that I, myself, am noted baseball fan Jason Burke. And on today's show, we're talking about the Cubs signing Dansby Swanson, and that may be freeing up somebody for them to trade to the A's. And also, we're going to talk about this article that I read on CBS Sports where they had 10 change of scene candidates, and I'm intrigued by one of them. Two of them were Red Sox, and I'm not intrigued by the guys on the Red Sox. I'm intrigued by the guy on the Mariners, so we'll get into that. And then finally, we're going to wrap up with some minor league signings, or one minor league signing, and then a couple of guys that were just outrighted to Las Vegas. So we'll get into all of that. But before we get into anything, thank you so much for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, this is going to be an interactive episode, so let me know what you guys think of my trade ideas. I'm not going to give you guys whether or not I do them or not. Maybe I will. We'll see how I'm doing on time. Let me know what you guys think of the trades after I'm done with each segment. And then, also subscribe, comment, like. By liking and commenting and subscribing, you help this podcast get to other A's fans like yourself, and you help the podcast grow. And that's really the point of me doing all of this. So there's that. Make sure to follow Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On A's. I am at by Jason B on Twitter, as it says right there. And then check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis on a mostly daily basis. As long as there's news to analyze, then I will be doing it on a daily basis. So there's that. Check out Inside the A's at Inside the A's on Twitter and on Facebook. Facebook is the backup plan right now because Twitter. Oh, what you doing there, Elon? No idea. But let's get into today's episode. Dansby Swanson, he signed a big-time contract, a big boy contract, as they like to say in the biz. See, I'm letting you guys know some of the jargon. It's a big boy contract. He signed with the Cubs for 7 years, $177 million. That's a lot of money for, I want everybody to get paid. Let's be upfront. That great contract. He's also a career league average hitter or worse. Over the last 4 years, he's been like 3% above league average. He was, I think, 10% above league average last year. That's great. He's in the 100th percentile with the glove at shortstop, a premium position. So I understand the contract. Good job, Dansby Swanson. Cubs, good luck, I guess. That's great. That is an average annual value of $25.3 million. And everybody's talking about all these big contracts that all these free agents are signing, but the average annual value has not been that much. The Cubs are paying roughly the same per year that the Giants are paying to Carlos Correa, only for half the amount of time. So it's half the amount of dollars. Carlos Correa signed 13 years, $350 million. That is roughly $27 million a season. That is a difference of just over $1.5 million a season. So who's going to get the better of that one? We'll find out. Congratulations to both of them, because I like when the players get paid. So that's great. But this does lead us to, hey, let's make a trade with the Cubs now, because they got too many guys playing two positions. And that's interesting to me as an A's fan, because the A's need guys to play positions, and they could use upgrades basically wherever. It doesn't matter. And one caveat here is I have said that as the A's are currently constructed, I would have Tony Kemp and Aledmys Diaz playing second base. Platoon the crap out of that. They'd be very, very good. They'd be a big upgrade over what they had in 2022. That's my plan. That's how I'm putting this roster together. Then again, there's also this guy named Nick Madrigal, who is intriguing. He's not like a must-have guy, but he's intriguing and kind of what the A's have been going after with a lot of high contact guys that don't strike out a lot. And Nick Madrigal is one of those guys. He's also very young. And that is another thing that the A's tend to kind of go after right now. Madrigal is 20. Oh, so why would he be available? One, the Cubs had a pretty good shortstop, or have a pretty good shortstop in Nico Hoerner. And he's going to slide to second, I guess. So there's that. Or, they could have one of those get one of either Hoerner or Madrigal play third, but maybe, I don't know. There's a chance that they keep all three. I don't know if I necessarily see that happening. I think that Madrigal would be, if they get the right offer, he's probably available. That's why we're talking about Nick Madrigal right now. He's 25 years old, does not strike out, as I said. He struck out 11.8% of the time in 2022, and that was a career high. Last year wasn't great for him, so his value is low right now, and the Cubs are also potentially motivated to move him. Those are two great things if you're the Oakland A's and you want to add some pieces to make your team better. Motivated seller, guy coming off a down year, but he has lots of tools. I like that. Those are good things. Nick Madrigal, in 3 seasons, he has hit 289 with a 336 on base. Those are good numbers. I'll take those numbers. Give me those numbers. I want them. But in 2022, he hit 249 with a 305 on base. Those are much worse numbers. The 249 is whatever. That's still above league average, but basically his hit tool is his main tool. So he needs to do a lot better than a 249 batting average when he's giving me mad defense and no power and all of that stuff. And a 305 on base, it's whatever. But he was in 20 and 21, his first 2 seasons, those were with the White Sox. He was 10 to 12% better than league average in his first 2 seasons. He was not that in this past season. He was like 30% below league average in 2022 in his first season with the Cubs. He is roughly an average defender. He's not great, but he's fine. He'll give you like 1 or 2 outs above average. Nothing sterling, but I mean, at second base, just catch the ball and throw it like a few feet. It's not that bad. Also, his range isn't necessarily the best. So going into the first season without the shift, he's not going to have any help. And so that could be a little bit terrifying if you're just going to have him go out there and be your second baseman. There's no help coming. So there's that. He's arbitration eligible this coming season. So that's maybe a deterrent for the A's who aren't trying to spend a ton of money still. I mean, they're going out and getting free agents that are good signings, I think. I'm very intrigued by the 3 guys that they've signed, and Peterson, Diaz, and also Trevor May. Trevor May seems like a fun time. Come on the podcast, Trevor. But I don't know that the A's necessarily want to be adding more arbitration eligible guys, because that's where they're going to be getting more and more expensive in years to come. He is a free agent after the 2026 season, so he'd have a few years of team control, so that's good. He's also from Sacramento, and the A's love to bring guys home. Maybe the Giants will trade for him instead, because that's also a place that's, near here, and maybe he was a Giants fan. I don't know. So what would it take to get Nick Madrigal? Not a lot, honestly. According to, and great assaults, again, this is a tool, not gospel, but baseballtradevalues.com. They have him as a 5.4 trade value points. That's how they're points. I don't know what they are. 5.4 trade value. And so that is roughly the equivalent of, the A's could trade one of their only, competitive balance picks, which is roughly the same, equal value for Nick Madrigal. And that'd be an interesting trade, honestly. I would definitely consider that. I don't know where you necessarily put Nick Madrigal right now, because you also have Jordan Diaz, who could be the second baseman, or maybe they're going to let him DH. I want to know what the plan for Jordan Diaz is coming up, because he's got a bat. I want to see him be able to take some swings in the big leagues. I don't know where you're going to play him, though. Let him DH. Or if they don't want to trade the comp balance pick, as it's shortened to, more jargon for you guys, they could also trade like James Caprillion, who is going to be starting the season potentially in the bullpen. It depends on how they want to work him up. I don't know. They tried to put him in the bullpen late last year, and then Adam Oller got hurt, so he just returned to the rotation. And Kelenic was really, really good when he returned to the rotation. He finished the season on a very, very high note. Congrats for him. But also, the A's have a lot of starting pitchers right now that they would like to see what they can do at the big league level. And Cap's hurt. And I mean, I guess we'll see. He's not going to be ready to start on opening day, which is how that was phrased to the media, and then also how the media, put that out to the masses. And I think that that was on purpose. He's not going to be built up to start on opening day. Maybe he's a bullpen option come opening day, and that's I don't know. Maybe he's on the trade block. I don't know. But if it takes James Kaprielian to get a chance at Nick Madrigal, who could be a solid guy, I think that if he was on the A's, the way that they're constructed right now, I'd put him at number 9. If he gets on base, he's setting it up real nice for the top of the order. He's a 1. He's a 9 or a 1. He's one of those guys. I'd be intrigued. But he's also not like a must-have guy. What are some of your trade offers down for Nick Madrigal here? Let me know down in the comments below. That's what I was trying to get to. Let me know down in the comments below, because I'm intrigued. Do you guys want Nick Madrigal? Do you not? Are the A's fine with second baseman? Let me know down in the comments, because I like the name. I like the tool set. I don't know that he's a must-have for me. So let me know what you guys would offer down below on YouTube. If you're listening to this audio, just think about it in your head and send that to me, with your head. But coming up on the show, I got one more trade proposal for you guys, and this one's going to be a little bit more interesting, I think. So stay locked in, you guys. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from pro football to college bowl season to basketball and the World Cup. They've got it all over at betonline.net. And congratulations to Argentina, spoiler alert, to Argentina for winning what is widely considered one of the best soccer/football games of all time. That was exhilarating. I had so much fun watching that. And Messi showing out for the old guys, making me believe that I can do anything that I want to. I'm going to hit the pitch. Next World Cup, I'm going to hit the pitch. It might be as a fan, like a drunken fan just storming the field, but I'm going to hit the pitch. Messi gave me the courage. And Mbappe looked like Hansen. Mbop, this is what he said. Anyways, if you love sports podcasts, sorry, BetOnline. If you love sports podcasts, you can even find those over BetOnline as well. They're the fastest and easiest way for you to get your sports betting info. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more, because BetOnline is where the game starts. Mbappe! Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast, where we like to have lots of fun. Make sure to follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at ByJasonB on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis coming your way each and every day. It's at Inside the A's on Twitter and on Facebook, so you never miss an article over there. But let's talk about this article that CBS Sports had that I clicked on and then I read. Well, I skimmed it, and I wanted to know what the names were. And one of those names was very interesting to me. And so I started making my own conclusions and was like, hey, he might be a guy that the A's go after if he's available. And so there's a lot of caveats on this one. Also, it's within the division. I don't know that they would trade him. But CBS Sports said that Jarred Kelenic of the Seattle Mariners could use a change of scenery. And I think that the grass is greener in Oakland. Let me tell you, he was on that list. He is still just 23 years old. He was the centerpiece of the Edwin Diaz trade with the Mets. And wow, people really laughed at the Mets for that trade. And Jarred Kelenic has not followed through on that promise so far. So that's something. And so that's why I think that maybe he does need a change of scenery. Maybe the Mariners cut ties. They're trying to, take that next step right now. He only has 1 year or one more option year left, and that it will be this coming season. So maybe to maximize his trade value, if he doesn't put it together in 2023, it'd be really hard to move him. I mean, I don't think that he'd be a non-tender candidate, but it'd be really hard to move him with 0 options and the career stats that he currently has. So maybe they are intrigued. Maybe they are interested in moving Jarred Kelenic. And so there's that. He's a lefty swinger, which I like. I like lefties. The A's could always use more lefties. Why not? They look better at the Coliseum for some reason. I don't know why. In 163 at-bats last season, he hit 141 with a 221 on base. Those aren't great numbers. He had a 33.7% strikeout rate in 2022. It was at 28.1 in 2021, so it went up by 5% as he got more exposure. So that's not great. His walk rate was at 8.8% in 2022. It was at 9.5 in 2021. I mean, the stuff isn't trending in the right direction, but he's still Jarred Kelenic, 23-year-old noted masher and former 4th overall pick. He's got some tools, and I'm very intrigued in them. He's also best defensively in right field. The A's could use a right fielder for the long term. I don't know. I know that they got Ramon Laureano there right now, but I don't know that he is the long-term answer in right field. I know that A's fans will riot if and when Ramon Laureano is traded. So that's something for the A's front office to consider, is the riots. But Jarred Kelenic would be a nice fit in right field. He cannot hit the slider, which I think is most of his detriment right now. Can't hit the slider. He hit 0-29 against them last season. Granted, he only had 163 total at-bats. He hit 0-29 against the slider. The rest of his stuff was okay, but 0-29 against the slider. Not great. He should see a boost in the shift band, as they're going to call it, because, he's a lefty. And so he'll get a little bit of a boost there in, on base percentage and all that stuff, and batting average, the big stats, batting average. But the A's are in the middle of a rebuild. He's 23 years old. He's a former top prospect, lost a lot of his shine because he hasn't done it at the major league level. Kind of reminds me of Christian Pache. And so I started going over in my head, would I trade Christian Pache for Jarred Kelenic? Some quick stats for you guys. Christian Pache, 24 years old, a year older. He's out of options. So there's that. That's not a nothing key for me, is he is out of options. But he also hit 166 with a 218 on base. So the batting average is 25 points higher. On base was 3 points lower. So roughly equal there. But he is also a Gold Glove defender in center field. And that would make it hard for me if they were going to go, 1-for-1, Kelenic for Pache. I don't know that I make that trade, because at the very least, you can get Gold Glove defense from Christian Pache, whereas Jarred Kelenic is roughly league average, maybe slightly above, and he's hitting the same as Christian Pache. So I'd rather have Pache of these two guys. If you could mold them into one guy, or platoon them is another way to put that, I'd be intrigued by that. But that's, again, more roster spots than I think the A's might have. But I'd be intrigued by that option, because Jarred Kelenic against lefties, 27 WRC plus. That is 73 points below league average. Christian Pache against lefties was also, oh no, crap. Did I do that wrong? No. I think I wrote it down wrong. Doesn't matter. I'm going to keep going. But Kelenic against righties, 69 WRC plus. So he was 31% below league average against righties. That's good. And then Pache, I believe that he actually hit lefties okay. I believe it was he hit lefties okay, and he had a 77 against lefties. So that's 23 points below league average against lefties, and he had a 12 WRC plus against righties, so that wasn't great. I may have messed that up, and they might actually both be good against lefties. I don't remember anymore, but hey, would you trade Pache for Kelenic? I think that we found somebody that I like Pache more than long-term, and that is, yeah, and that's Jarred Kelenic. I like Christian Pache because he has a tool that you can bank on, and that's his amazing defense and his winning personality. That's his his sixth tool is his personality, because he's a delight. I really like Christian Pache and rooting for Christian Pache. And there's been a lot of Braves fans with, if you say anything about Christian Pache, they're like, I hope he's doing well. He seems lovely. And I think that he's just one of those guys, and I'm happy that he's on my team. I know that Jarred Kelenic may have more upside offensively right now, but neither of them are necessarily doing it. And depending on what the asking price, his trade value, according to baseball trade values, again, tool, not gospel, is the same roughly as the comp pick and James Caprillion and Nick Madrigal. You can have one of those guys for not a ton, according to that site. So if the A's can swing a deal for Jarred Kelenic, I'd be intrigued. I might want to see more out of Connor Capable, but I'd be intrigued by the 23-year-old lefty phenom. Why not? What are your trade proposals for him? Who do you want more out of the two? Let me know down in the comments below on YouTube. Again, if you're listening in audio, send those to me telepathically, and I'll answer those next time I do a show. But coming up on this show, we're going to be talking about some minor news that the A's have made. So we'll get into that here in just 1 second. All right, we are back. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us through everything. It's been 510 episodes. We're having a great time. I'm enjoying it. I find my groove every now and then, and right now I feel like I'm in my groove. And so thank you for all of the kind words. There have been so many just lovely comments on YouTube, and they make me happy. So thank you for those. So many people have called me handsome, and I really appreciate that. Somebody wants me to bring a sign to the wrestling event, asking the wrestling promoter to buy the A's, and I might do that. We'll see. So that would be great. But let's talk about some just real quick, some minor transactions that have happened for the A's according to the transactions tab on the A's website. The first one, the one that I'm super excited about because I really like him a lot, and that's Diolis Guerra. He was non-tendered, I believe. Yeah, he was non-tendered last month in November ahead of the 40-man roster deadline, and that stunk. I like Diolis Guerra a lot, and he was kind of like the heir apparent to Yusmeiro Petit heading into 2022, and then he needed Tommy John surgery in the spring, so he didn't get the pitch, so that stunk. And then Domingo Acevedo kind of just took over that role, so I don't know where he necessarily fits in the bullpen as constructed, but having two guys, you could have one go every other day, and all of a sudden, boom, you got just an innings eater every day. And I'm not mad at that. Honestly, I'm not mad at that. So Diolis Guerra, he's still, I believe, recovering because it hasn't been a full year yet, but I like Diolis Guerra. He had a 4.11 ERA in 2021. His Baseball Savant page has a lot of red on it. He was pitching the crap out of the ball. He limited hard contact a lot like Chris Bassett does. That's Chris Bassett's calling card, is limiting hard contact and then just not allowing like strings of hits. That's what Diolis Guerra generally does. But in 2021, 10 of the 18 bequeathed runners, or runners that he left for somebody else, the next guy up in the bullpen, 10 of the 18 scored. And so if only like 5 of those guys had scored, he would have had like a 3.5 ERA, and people would have been like, "Oh wow, I love Diolis Guerra." So the bullpen wasn't great to him last time he was on the mound in Oakland. I like him a lot. It's a minor league deal, very low risk, decent. I mean, the reward isn't going to be super high. The A's probably aren't going to go to the playoffs, but I like the depth option right here in Diolis Guerra. He's a nice guy. All of his posts on Instagram are of his family. He seems lovely. I like him a lot. He's also 33, close to my age. I like it. Enough of these kids. Give me more Lionel Messi. Hey, does he play baseball? Anyways, also on the A's website, the transaction page, Vimael Machin has cleared waivers and was outrighted to Vegas. So he was just basically outrighted off of the 40-man roster, sent to Vegas. The thing that we're going to need to see from him in order to see him back in the big leagues, we know that he can hit minor league pitching. He is absolutely raked in AAA for a couple of seasons now. He needs to get better defensively, because at all of the positions that he's played since he made his big league debut in 2020, he has not had a plus next to any of those in outs above average on Baseball Savant. In any of those, no position has had a plus. He's had some zeros where he could be the league average, but he has not been a plus defender by even one anywhere. He's been a negative defender, but not a plus defender anywhere. So he has to really carve out a role, work on that glove. He's got the contact ability. He can do the stuff with the bat and be, a decent option for a bat, but he needs to, work on the glove, I think. And that could lead to some longer term success for Vimy Almachin. I like Vimy Almachin. In 2020, he was, I named the show Locked On Vimy Almachin because I like this guy a lot. And so I'm hoping for the best. And so work on that glove. We'll see you back in Oakland. And then also another guy that was DFA'd last week and cleared waivers and was outright at Vegas, Ernie Clement, who, the A's got off of waivers in September from Cleveland. He was okay. He was all right. But the thing that he needs to work on so that we see him and he could have more success in the big leagues as well. He's still just 26 years old. He's got some time, but fastballs have given him a dickens of a time. And so he needs to work on hitting fastballs. He can hit sliders okay, but fastballs, oh man, what those were not his friend in 2022. So he needs to work on hitting those a little bit more. And then, hey, we'll see him again. But I went to a game last year and I feel like it was one of the last games of the season against the Angels. And I feel like he just kept getting breaking balls down and away, like the old Chris Davis method of just striking him up. And every at bat, I think that it was just sliders down and away, and he swung at all of them and never made contact. And it was 3 pitches, good afternoon, or good morning, good afternoon, good night. And that was my lasting memory. But according to the stats, fastballs were the ones that did it to him. So maybe my memory was off. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch the tape. But that's all that I got for you guys today. Tomorrow, I'll probably be talking about Trevor May enjoying the Oakland A's. That's a trend that we've been seeing. I'm going to have to piece together some thoughts, but Peterson and Diaz and now May have all said very nice things about the A's and the Coliseum after signing, free agent contracts with them this winter. So what's going on there? I'm going to have to form some thoughts, and I'll present those to you guys on the next episode. And then coming up later this week, we already recorded it, the Festivus episode with the hosts of Locked On White Sox, Locked On Tigers, and Locked On Rangers, where we like to complain about things and also talk about our home run hitters and present minor miracles that we're going to call Festivus Miracles. And so it was a lot of fun to record. These guys are all fantastic at what they do, and you should probably tune in because it's a lot of fun. Also, I was the host, so it was good. So I got to really dunk on Bryce a couple of times, and that made me happy. But that's all that I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. If this is your first listen every day, let us know down in the comments below, and I will shout you out on the next episode. Also, make sure to check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast because it's the biggest stories from around the sports world in 20 minutes or less. Plus, instant reactions, game recaps, and Locked On's take of the day. Locked On Sports Today is available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. But that's all that I got for you guys today. So, until next time, go out and celebrate good times, A's fans, and I will talk at you soon.